Tonight, 2 Spokane County Jail inmates are dead, suspected of overdosing. And we are tracking a 3rd inmate who authorities say also OD'd but survived.
The wind picked back up for us today, and it's only the first round of severe weather. What I'm tracking in your weather impact alert.
We know that this money is going to save lives.
Tonight, the City Council approving more money for shelter space in town. We've uncovered the details. Good evening and thank you for joining us for the KREM 2 Night Report. I'm Mark Hanrahan. Topping our news tonight, breaking news at the Spokane County Jail. 3 inmates apparently overdosed today. 2 of them died. Here's what we know tonight. A man booked into the jail yesterday for unlawful camping on public property died of an overdose today. Narcan was administered and there was a full medical response, but he did not survive. In a second incident, a man booked for criminal trespass last week also died from an overdose. There was also a full medical response in that incident as well, although no specific mention of Narcan. A 3rd inmate, a woman booked on Wednesday for first-degree robbery, also overdosed, was given Narcan and survived. She is expected to be okay. All 3 of tonight's incidents are classified as critical incidents for the jail. A spokesperson telling us all 3 inmates were on different floors of the jail. That spokesperson also says so far this year, Narcan has been administered 38 times in the jail, and there have been 35 trips to the hospital. This is a breaking news story. We will continue to follow it for you right here on KREM 2 News, as well as KREM.com. Our other big story tonight, we are under a KREM 2 weather impact alert. You should know that strong winds will be hitting our area in the days to come. It is something certainly to watch out for. Let's kick things off tonight, beginning outside to meteorologist Cody Proctor. Cody?
Well, let's just say, Mark, the wind is just even kicking up right now out here, and it's definitely feeling a little chilly at the moment thanks to that wind chill. Right now, we're at 47 degrees at the Spokane Airport. It is still pretty warm for this time of night. Our winds are coming out of the southwest at 17 miles per hour. It has been a bit gusty here and there. Around our region, we're still very mild for us, mostly into those 40s. Spokane is our coldest spot in the upper 40s right now. A lot of our areas mostly into the 50s for us. Around our region, we're still seeing some of those double-digit wind speeds. That includes Wenatchee, Spokane, Coeur d'Alene, Deer Park, Kettle Falls. It is definitely windy. You can certainly see it with my hair. But once we get past tonight, this is the big concern for us. We have a high wind watch that goes into effect tomorrow night. Will stay in effect until Wednesday afternoon. We could see potentially wind gusts up to about 60 miles per hour. In some of the higher terrain, maybe even more than that. So keeping a close eye on that. We're also looking at some rain in that forecast too. Next 12 hours, as far as those gusts, it's still going to be pretty gusty as we head into our early morning hours once we get past this wind advisory. But the next 3 days, this is when we have that weather impact alert for you. That includes tomorrow and Wednesday before we start to calm down. More is coming up in your full forecast.
Cody, thank you very much. Tonight, Spokane City Council is giving more than $100,000 to several city nonprofits for shelter beds in preparation for inclement weather. KREM 2's Connor McAvoy breaks down how much money is being spent and what the city is saving for when the weather gets colder. He joins us live in the newsroom tonight with more. Connor?
Well, the city's Community Housing and Human Services Department says that they're expecting an emergency overflow of shelter beds this month as the weather gets colder. That's why council members approved giving more money to nonprofits to fight this expected need while holding on to what they have left in case that's not enough.
All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye. In a unanimous vote, Spokane City Council members approved multiple items on the meeting's consent agenda, but the one getting the most attention has to do with giving money to 3 different nonprofits for shelter beds during times when the temperature is 32 degrees or lower. This includes $45,000 for the Salvation Army, $70,000 for Catholic Charities of Eastern Washington, and $22,000 for Revive. This totals $137,000 for beds coming out of the general fund. The matter was sponsored by City Council member Paul Dillon.
We know that this money is going to save lives.
This comes as the city already has $800,000 allocated for inclement weather for 2024 and 2025. According to the city, as of November 2025, they spent $525,000 on shelter beds out of their designated funds. That leaves $275,000. Councilmember Paul Dillon says what's left over is going to be held on to as the weather gets colder. He says this will make it easier for the city to draw as needed.
This allows for smart planning. It allows us to be more reactive and ready in the event we do have cold temperatures and need to surge.
This decision, while facing no opposition from council members, had community members like Derek Azzaro speaking out against it.
So whatever money you're giving them tonight or you have every week, if you really do think about it, is really going to their payroll.
Despite the pushback, council voted in favor of the extra funding.
The city says this is a part of their 5-year plan to help prevent homelessness and create a fair crisis response system by 2030. In the newsroom, Connor McAvoy, KREM 2 News.
All right, Connor, thank you very much. Well, tonight also marked Councilmember Jonathan Bingle's last meeting on the Spokane City Council. In last month's election, he lost his Council District 1 seat to Sarah Dixit by about a little more than 150 votes. In one of his concession statements, Bingle said he remained hopeful that Spokane's best days are ahead. All right, it's time for our night beat with a quick look at the day's top stories. A man is now facing 2 federal murder charges after investigators say he killed his fiancée and her son. It happened last week in Nespila on the Colville Reservation. Tribal police saying the suspect called 911 himself and admitted to the murders. Dick worked for the Colville Tribal Court. Court documents show the suspect, Damian Todd Martinez Jr., called 911 and confessed to police that he stabbed Dick and her 17-year-old son, Anthony Vieira Martinez. Stated that he believed Dick was cheating on him. Investigators say Martinez called 911 on December 11th and said he woke up Laura, Dick's son, and stabbed him in the neck. The victim also has a daughter who was not hurt. The Grand Coulee Dam School District confirming that grief counselors were on hand at Lake Roosevelt High School for students and staff. The superintendent describing Vieira's time as a student and how other students were honoring him.
He is very resilient. He liked to be outside, very social butterfly with the students. There was a whole class in there, and they were making memory rocks for him. And so they were painting, they were drawing pictures of him.
The Confederated Tribes of the Colville Reservation says Dick was a clerk at the Colville Tribal Court. A Kootenai County jury is now hearing the case against the owner of a security company who faces 8 charges for dragging a woman out of a Coeur d'Alene town hall. Paul Truitt is charged with battery, false imprisonment, and violating Coeur d'Alene's laws for security agents. His trial began this morning and is expected to last at least another day. City prosecutors filed the charges after this incident back on February 22nd, where Truitt and other members of his security firm dragged a woman from her seat. Teresa Borenpaul admitted that she was heckling the speakers during that town hall event. Coeur d'Alene police recommended the charges against Truitt. Prosecutors dropped charges against 4 other hired security guards earlier this month. We are tracking new information in a deadly U-Haul explosion in Lewiston over the weekend. The Nez Perce County Coroner's Office identified the victim as a 61-year-old man from Meridian. That explosion happened in the parking lot of the Old Navy on Nez Perce Drive on Saturday morning. The blast damaged nearby businesses, including a Courtyard Marriott hotel. The incident is still under investigation, but Lewiston fire officials say propane was leaking inside the truck's cargo box. It is not clear how that propane ignited. And that'll do it for your Night Beat. For more information on any of these stories, just head to our website. That's KREM.com. Well, the defense for Moses Adedeji, the suspect accused of a drive-by shooting at the Globe Bar in downtown Spokane more than a year ago, will likely begin its trial tomorrow, its case in the trial tomorrow. This comes as the prosecution is trying to wrap up their case tomorrow in hopes of finishing that trial by Christmas. Adedeji is charged with 2 counts of attempted murder and first-degree assault for allegedly shooting 2 people following a fight. He was arrested last year at a North Carolina airport as he returned from the United Kingdom. This week, Spokane County leaders are taking steps to ask state lawmakers for help, pushing for an additional Superior Court judge as thousands of cases remain stuck in limbo. KREM 2's chief journalist Amanda Rowley has been tracking this issue for months now. She brings us the latest tonight in our ongoing Boomtown coverage.
Spokane County commissioners are taking action, formally asking the state for a 14th Superior Court judge. The move comes after pressure from Superior Court judges and the County Bar Association, who say the system is overwhelmed and there are thousands of backlogged cases.
Right now, Spokane County has 13 Superior Court judges in accordance with current state law. The commissioner's resolution asks the Washington State Legislature to amend that law and increase Spokane County's total judges by 1.
It's a great start, but it's better than where we were.
Superior Court Judge Michelle Zamblin supports adding more judges. She says adding at least one more will help the bench begin moving the needle on the nearly 3,000 civil cases currently stalled.
If we can have sufficient resources, your case will move faster. And that's something I feel pretty strongly about because, take for instance, a family law matter. If you've got a kiddo who's, 3, and it takes a year for their case to get resolved, if it's resolved at year 4, that means a quarter of the kid's life has been under temporary orders and a lack of finality.
In a statement from the County Bar Association, it's pleased commissioners are taking these steps, and although its original request was for 3 additional judges, it's taking this as a step in the right direction. Once the resolution is approved, it'll be in the hands of state lawmakers.
In the county's resolution in this week's consent agenda, commissioners say it is in the county's best interest to expand the Superior Court bench. Reporting from the Spokane County Courthouse, Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
And you can catch Amanda's complete coverage on the situation with the judges right now over on KREM 2+.
If you've ever been involved in a court case, whether it's criminal or civil or family law, this issue directly impacts you. And we're talking about thousands of cases stalled, long wait times, and the ripple effect that has on real people across Spokane County.
You can catch Amanda's full episode of The Tea streaming right now on KREM 2+. It is free and easy to download on your TV. Well, just today, President Donald Trump signed an executive order that reclassifies fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction. The president is making the move, even though government data shows drug overdose deaths in the U.S. last year dropped to their lowest level in 5 years. The president also ordered Attorney General Pam Bondi to prosecute anyone involved in fentanyl trafficking. He says he wants the administration to go after any groups involved in supporting the manufacture, sale, or distribution of the drug. Brand new tonight, we have learned the U.S. military destroyed 3 boats in the eastern Pacific Ocean. It's part of Operation Southern Spear, which targets vessels suspected of trafficking drugs. The strikes killed 8 people in international water, and that brings the total up to 95 deaths as part of the operation. All right, still ahead tonight, what we have learned about the shocking murder of Hollywood director Rob Reiner and his wife in their own home. Then one of the most famous faces from soap opera history has died. A Hollywood passing to tell you about later tonight.